Hi everyone, we'll just get started in a couple moments. Everyone, we're just going to get started very shortly. Just waiting for some more people joining. All right, everyone, welcome to the webinar, Easy Amazon Reconciliation for High Volume Sellers. Today, we're going to start off with an introduction. We're going to get into an overview of the selling process on Amazon. We're going to get into the mysteries of the Amazon settlement report. We're going to talk about how to automate your process, and then we're going to open it up to questions and answers. So to kick off the introduction, my name is Decker. I am a senior manager here at Webgility. About Webgility, we are a member of Amazon's Developer Council. We were founded by an Amazon veteran. We've worked with thousands of Amazon sellers, and we are the #1 automation software for Amazon sellers on QuickBooks and NetSuite. Your Amazon expert and keynote speaker today is Kevin. He is a senior product manager at Webgility. He has over 10 years experience, and he's worked in key verticals including e-commerce, retail, manufacturing, and distribution. And we're going to start today with a poll question. Which is your biggest challenge? If you could please just select one of these options, reconciling Amazon accounting, figuring out Amazon fees, forecasting inventory, FBA shipments and fees, or the last choice, which is managing multiple sales channels. We're going to be closing the poll in just a few moments. If you could please answer as quickly as you could. All right, we still have a few responses coming in very quickly. All right, we're going to close the poll in about 5 seconds. All right, let's take a look at the results. Looks like the #1 choice at 70% was reconciling Amazon accounting, and looks like a fairly even distribution among the other answers, but #2 is forecasting inventory. All right, we're going to continue with the presentation.
Awesome, thank you, Decker. So my name is Kevin, as Decker mentioned, and I'm going to talk to you about selling on Amazon and some of the challenges that you face, including what you mentioned was the Amazon reconciliation. And then I'm also going to talk about how the information is automated into, or how we can automate it into your QuickBooks from Amazon and any other omni-channels. Okay, we'll do a quick overview of selling on Amazon, although I'm sure it's just a review for everybody here. Of course, you're going to list the products that you have, whether it be a few or hundreds of thousands. And then once a sale occurs, this is where we're going to dive in deeper in a little bit. Amazon sends you the order, you or Amazon fulfills the order. That's either FBA or FBM. And then seller fees are deducted and you get paid on your Amazon settlement date. Now, to clear that up a little bit, we're going to go into the basic terms. So the settlement date and the settlement range, the way all this works, as I'm sure you're familiar, is that any order that comes through will get put into a settlement period, and those settlement periods are usually 14-day periods. And at the end of that 14-day period, Amazon gives you a settlement report, which tells you a summary or aggregation of a lot of your data, so that you can take that data and put it into QuickBooks. Now, part of the problem is that it is a summary, it is an aggregate, and you can't always find the details or find the problems when you need to. But we'll get that into that in a little bit. Some other basic terms, we have FBA, which is fulfillment by Amazon. That's when Amazon holds your inventory. You have to pay Amazon. They charge you fees for holding your inventory. And then once you have an order come in, then Amazon will ship that out and fulfill the order for you. You can actually use that not only just for Amazon orders, but for other order systems as well, other marketplaces and shopping carts. We also have FBM, which is fulfillment by merchant. That's when you fulfill it yourself. I usually call that fulfillment by me, as I'm the one doing it. And we have the deposits. So at the end of every settlement, you have the deposits. Those are the refunds that are received by the seller after fees and expenses have been subtracted. So Amazon pays you the deposit after they've taken their share of the orders out. Then you have the reconciliation. This is where all the information really should come together into a nice clean picture, and everything fits down to the little penny that you have in your QuickBooks, and it all comes together in a nice pretty bow. Now, unfortunately, this is not exactly how life works, which is why we have products like Webgility to help you make sense of what's coming out of Amazon, and making sure that that makes sense not only to you and to QuickBooks or NetSuite, but also to your accountant. Then, of course, the thing that everybody loves is the profits. So once Amazon has taken out all of their fees, and assuming you have enough margin on there, then you will have a thin sliver of margin on the products that you sell on Amazon. So challenges of selling on Amazon, and really there's major competition, as I'm sure you can see on there. There's over 2 million sellers in over 100 plus countries that Amazon is used in. And if you even look at Amazon, they've got very thin margins. Now, part of this is even just due to Amazon's mission statement, which is we strive to offer our customers the lowest possible prices, the best available selection, and the utmost convenience. So the lowest possible prices, those are going to require thin margins, and the thinnest margins that your company can bear. And if they can't bear them, then you're not part of their company anymore. And of course, the best available selection, that's the major competition. I don't know last time you looked for something on Amazon, but you have pages and pages and pages of often identical product in there, and you have to weed out what you are looking for, what you're not looking for, what the right seller is, who isn't the right seller, and you need to be able to stand out for yourself in that sea of Amazon sellers. One of the things we like to do or recommend is to diversify what marketplaces and shopping channels you're a part of. So at Webgility, we are an omni-channel automation tool. So we work with not only with Amazon, but all of the other top ones, and we work with a few dozen of them. And then we would also recommend, just like you do in your stocks or your portfolio, is to diversify that. So just like you wouldn't put all of your eggs in one basket, and you wouldn't put all of your faith in Amazon, you want to make sure you diversify that and get some income sources from other areas. You also don't have real-time accounting. I don't know if you would like it if you looked at your bank account and your bank didn't actually update your balance until every other 14 days. That really wouldn't work in my lifestyle. So the fact that you have to do that with Amazon and understand that's what's going to happen with your fees and your deposits and everything, that is just something that comes to bear when you agree to do business with Amazon.
All right, thanks, Kevin. We're going to move to the second poll question, which is about how you settle your accounting with Amazon. All right, we're launching the poll. If you could please just select one of those 5 answers, and then we'll share the results with the rest of the attendees. please just make your selection. We have some votes coming in, and we'd like to share the results here. Option 1 is an Excel spreadsheet. Option 2 is using an in-house accountant. 3 is an external bookkeeper. 4 is using a software tool, and the last selection is that you don't. All right, we have over half the people voted, and we still have some rapid results coming in here. Gonna close the polls in about 5 seconds. All right, let's take a look at what the results are. Looks like the top result is using an in-house accountant, and number 2 is using an Excel spreadsheet. All right, so now we're gonna talk about how to optimize this process.
Thank you, Decker. Okay, so the mysteries of the Amazon settlement report. So this actually came out of the first poll question that we asked, is what is it that the greatest pain point that you have, and that's really settling with Amazon, the fees and everything. So we're going to talk about the settlement report, what it looks like when you just look at it from Seller Central, what it looks like if you're available to download it, and what it looks like if you can bring that into QuickBooks, and then how Webgility can actually help automatically fulfill all that information into your QuickBooks and provide the necessary detail to your accountants for any accounting needs, including taxes, the ever important taxes that are coming up for everybody. If you've looked at the Amazon settlement statement, it looks pretty. It is very well organized until you actually look at the items on there, and then it really starts to not make any sense whatsoever. So you have a beginning balance on this particular item of $900, a little over $900. Orders, you do about $450 in sales, and then a bunch of other numbers come out of there, and somehow you end up closing balance of $1,000 plus another balance of 400 and something that's unavailable and negative. So what on earth does that even mean? What is this report trying to tell me? And you know that the report is confusing when there's a what's this tooltip right there in the report, because not many people really understand this and can be able to accurately bring this information over into QuickBooks, so accurately and reliably into QuickBooks in a way that would allow you to close all of your books, not only at the end of each month, but at the end of each year. Now, if you dive into this a little bit more, you can even see that there are some items like under orders and under refunds. There are other classifications. And so who knows what those others are? You'd have to really drill into these items and try to figure out what are the nuances of each of these orders, each of these fees, where did they come from, why are they fees that I can avoid in the future, that kind of thing. And it's not enough information that you really have in this one report. And if you really break it down, you can see that settling on Amazon is very, very difficult. You have your settlement may not actually be equal to your deposit, which is a painful thing to realize when you understand that there's new activity coming in. You have additional product sales, all the fees, refunds that are coming back, if you have chargebacks, and any other items that are coming in that really just have that slight difference between the items. So if you have two pieces of paper and you're trying to make sure that both of them look the same, but they're printed on different time stamps, and one's real time and one just happens every 2 weeks, and trying to make sure that those match at every level to ensure that you are making the money that you are entitled to make, then it is a very daunting task. There are a lot of confusing terms. You have the other section. It requires the manual data entry and everything, and it's very time consuming. Now, it's not horrible if you can just take a small one sheet of paper and be able to hand type that into QuickBooks and just hope and pray that everything goes right. But if in the case that an error occurs, that's when even more time consuming activities have to take place. So you have to drill down into where the problem is. Is the problem in QuickBooks or Amazon or in the hand entry, or is it if it's in one of Amazon, you have to drill through into the orders to find what's wrong there. There are actually companies that are built just for the sole purpose of finding where Amazon went wrong in creating their settlement reports or creating their fees. So the fact that almost an industry exists just to find where Amazon is fallible means that there's a lot of opportunity in there for you to have errors in your settlements just from Amazon. So why is this important? Well, you want to get paid. You want that you want that profit that everybody's always seeking. And if Amazon is taking that profit and in their fees, which they may or may not be entitled to, depending on what they're looking at, if they are fees that you can avoid in the future, if they are fees that you are just not expecting at any point in time, and you need that information to make intelligent decisions down the road. That's why it's really important to understand what's coming through these settlement reports and how that fits in with your P&L statements. How is that fitting in with all of your accounting? Not only that, but if you're putting all of your eggs in one basket at Amazon, that it is very high risk to be able to, you're putting all of your trust in Amazon, and there's low visibility when you have thousands upon thousands of orders, tens of thousands maybe on a monthly basis or more. And all of that information is coming through, and Amazon just gives you a small report at the end of every 2 weeks. There's not a lot of information there for you to be able to disseminate or ascertain what might be in there that is causing angst for your accountant. If you've ever actually downloaded the settlement report, it comes in a text file, and it looks like this. It's called a tab delimited file, and it's really pretty much a jumbled mess of information. So you have all kinds of just ugliness in here of date stamps, any of the SKUs, descriptions, items, all kinds of different numbers and variables. It is a mess in here to try to figure out. Now, if for a lot of you that have been able to pull this into Excel and started to make sense in it, then you're taking this information and you're creating pivot tables, you're doing VLOOKUPs with your own other Excel spreadsheets. Your accountants might even be taking this and doing VLOOKUPs and pivot tables. Hopefully you have somebody who can do some macros and kind of make it a little bit easier, but it's still a very, very painful experience. I even like Excel, and I will tell you it's a very painful experience to do this within Excel. So we take this information though, and we're able to pull this directly into QuickBooks or NetSuite, and we can break it down by the fees. So if you look at the different fees, you've got all kinds of fees. FBA loves fees, or Amazon loves fees, and FBA loves more fees. So you've got your monthly subscription fees. If you're pro account, you've got your per item fees, closing fees, referral fees, labeling fees, packaging and prep fees. If something went wrong with FBA, you have the wonderful unplanned prep fee. So it's, I guess, aptly named. We have a repackaging fee in case of returns, stock removal fees. So there's a myriad of fees that Amazon has in there. And they have even restructured the fees and in theory made them easier not too long ago. And so these fees could even change by Amazon coming up. So just to be able to be flexible in what these fees are, where they go, how that fits in with your profit and loss statement, how that fits in with your individual orders. This is really, really key to understanding the success of your business. From here, we're going to go into the automation and actually look at how Webgility assists you in automating all of your Amazon settlements. So we have the OneClick Accounting for Amazon. It's a really fast and easy way to post any of your Amazon orders, refunds, expenses, really any transaction that happens of yours within the Amazon marketplace. We're pulling that information down into either NetSuite or QuickBooks. So that information gets pulled down on on a daily or faster basis, depending on how you like to do it within your accounting portfolio. And then it also brings in the reconciliation, the settlement reports every 2 weeks or every 14 days. It pulls that information in, and it automatically aligns all the different fees with the different orders. So when we have all that, it starts right away, eliminates any additional data entry. But then it also gives you a complete list of your Amazon orders within Webgility, and then if you want within QuickBooks. We often recommend having a separate account in QuickBooks called a clearinghouse account or clearing account just within QuickBooks, not one with your bank, so that you can see the individual details within that clearing account in Amazon of your Amazon orders. And then that bubbles up to just the deposits that you're getting from the Amazon settlement reports. Now with this list of Amazon orders, you have everything available in here. You have all the deposits, all the fees, everything related to each of these orders in your QuickBooks. In Webgility, it also shows your order level profitability. So you can see each and every order, and then you can filter this if you want to. So you can look at it from a date perspective. You can look at it from different order statuses. And if you really love Excel, you can export this to Excel and play with some numbers there too. But this shows you, and you can drill into this, every order, the profitability of it. In this first instance, you can see that there was a total of $12.95. That was how much the total order was. And there was $5.13 of expenses. So your net profit on that was $7.82. Now in this particular case, we have not inputted the cost of goods, although we can for these items. So we could pull in the cost of goods and we can run reports on exactly what the profitability is, even to a more granular level on each of these orders and each of these items that you have in the system. So we sync Amazon sales and refunds daily as a batch. And you can see this here. We have full sync status information. We have identified if there's an account match. If there are items that are missing, then we can synchronize those and ensure that those are put into each of the different areas. And then also the refunds in here. So we can see in the settlement amount, you have the refunds, and you can see the synchronization of those refunds and how that information should flow within the system. So all this is automated daily, and with the batch, and then with these, it goes, settlement info goes right into your accounting. So it synchronizes it on a daily basis, goes through Webgility and brings it right into your QuickBooks. Once all the information's there, it instantly reconciles your accounting. So you have, on one hand, in your QuickBooks or NetSuite, you have your bank register, and you'll be able to reconcile a deposit. So you'll see a deposit from Amazon Store. That's a single deposit that comes from the settlement report, and you'll be able to drill into that, and you'll see the entire deposit, including all of the sales data, all of the different orders that you have in there, and all of the refunds data, and all of the different fees and information that is applicable to this right in here in your bank register. So it's a very, very easy way to reconcile your accounting settlement items and your orders from Amazon into the deposit that you get from Amazon during that settlement range. Not only that, but it syncs historical Amazon data. Now, there is a, I believe it's a Chinese proverb that says the best time to plant a tree was 100 years ago. The second best time is now. So while it may have been best to start doing these automated synchronizations from Amazon into your accounting software at the beginning of your company, at the beginning of your business, or when you start a business with Amazon, that might be more than 120 days back. So the second best time to do it is right now. So we can be able to pull in all of the information from over 100 up to 120 days And in some certain instances, over 120 days, we can work with you on that and with your Amazon accountant to see if what is available, if anything. But this gives a lot of information that may not have been available to you over or within the past 120 days, and be able to show you any inconsistencies that may have happened within your accounting system that may not have been caught before. So you can see exactly what's going on, what your balances are, where the fees have come from, ensure that you have all the fees accounted for and you understand what they're for, and understand where they came from. Then, and then once you have all this historic Amazon data synced back, that's about 4 months, you'll get some instant short-term benefits with this data. So you'll have 120 days worth of data. You'll still be going forward with this information. And you really don't need the clearing account because it works with your bank feed. And so the undeposited funds works with the bank feed, so the undeposited funds to reconcile this data. It provides a lot of flexibility to post the orders into accounting as they come in. So that's the daily batch with no fees, or you can hold those orders in Webgility until the settlement report is ready. So you have your choice there. If you want to hold them in Webgility, or if you want to automatically always bring them down into QuickBooks. You have very clean accounting. So if even if Webgility can't find where a refund came from, the deposit is adjusted and corrected for based on the amount, appearing as an adjustment on the deposit. So you have real-time accounting accountability, actually, for lack of a better word. And so your accountant, and more importantly, you can understand where this information, where the monies, where the figures are coming from, and how to drill back into what's happening with those. You also get a full view of the activity and the financial weight of what has happened within a settlement period. Again, the fees can be make or break a company. So you might need to drill into what those fees are. Are there excessive FBA fees that you need to research to ensure that FBA really is the right profit model for you, or are there other models out there? If you're bringing this in from Amazon and you have other channels out there, how does the profitability from your Amazon compare to the other channels? What are the tangible aspects of that, and what are the intangible aspects of that? And pull that into a holistic picture to understand your company, your organization, and not only how you're doing right now, but how you can expect to do in the future. So as I mentioned, expecting to do in the future, you can start bringing this information in, and with Webgility's dashboards, you'll be able to see trends. You'll see your profitability trends, you'll see your margin analysis on an item level and basis, so you can see what has the best margins, what has the lowest margins. We have full compliance of your accounting, and we have clear metrics within our dashboard, so you can see exactly what's going on, when it's going on. We've got different filters within the metrics, so you can drill down into different time periods of what's going on to give you the business insights that you need to make the important decisions that you need in a faster basis than waiting 2 weeks or a month or 2 months for your accountant to get back to you and give you a financial status of what's going on. And with that, I'm going to kick it back over to Decker.
Thank you, Kevin, for the deep dive. I just want to summarize at a high level what it is that our software does. And what it does is it provides automation for QuickBooks and NetSuite sellers. And at the end of the day, what this means is that you're better able to scale your business, to speed up your process, and to improve your accuracy so that you're not getting errors and mistakes. And what we're going to do now is we're going to move into questions and answers. If you could please just submit your questions into GoToWebinar. We have a few coming through already. The first questions, some people are asking about the recording. We will be sending out the recording within 24 hours at the latest. And we have another question here for Kevin, which is, where can I find inventory and cost of goods sold?
Inventory and cost of goods sold. So we have, we usually use, Webgility would not be the system of record for those items. Webgility would, however, pull that information in from its available endpoints. So inventory, the system of record for inventory could either be QuickBooks or NetSuite. Same with the COGS or cost of goods sold. So Webgility would have that information from those two sources. And then as far as the inventory goes, when orders come through Amazon or any other channel, then Webgility would be able to decrement the inventory numbers accordingly and take that information back to the systems of record, either QuickBooks or NetSuite. Webgility would also be able to hold on to that cost of goods sold and take the profit information or the order information and compare that with the COGS to ensure you have a positive margin. And if you don't have positive margin, be able to alert you to indicate as such so that you could make better decisions.
Okay, we have a question here from Michael. Can the transaction import as a sales receipt or invoice so we can track inventory?
Yes, Webgility has all kinds of options. It actually makes it a very, very powerful piece of software. And one of the very first options that you go through is to identify how you're going to record that transaction in there. So you can record it as a sales order or as an invoice, and there are a couple other options that I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, if Amazon reports every 2 weeks, how do we reconcile the daily entries from Webgility?
I'm not sure I understand the question, other than you would have to just wait until the Amazon reconciliation reports come through to ensure that your daily items are accurate. Now, sometimes, in fact, a question just came in today that a customer is reconciling every month, but it doesn't fall well within the settlement date. And so just because you're playing with Amazon, you have to play with Amazon rules, and there are going to be chances where you're going to have to backport some of the data.
Okay, we have a question from Terry. Do the SKU numbers in Amazon need to be the same as in QuickBooks, or is there a way to map it if they are different?
Great question. Thank you for asking that. We actually recommend that you be different. So you have the ASINs in Amazon, and then you have the SKU numbers in QuickBooks, and we can map those. So we highly recommend you not use the ASINs in QuickBooks for a number of reasons. But yeah, we provide the mapping tool to ensure that you have those that information separate but tagged.
Okay, another question from Mitch. How will I know if a fee charged by Amazon is wrong?
Also a great question. And right now, at least, there are a number of options that you have. You can, we don't have anything built into Webgility yet to alert you if we think there's a fee that could be wrong. But other than that, you have to look at the fees, and does it make sense, really? Does it pass the sniff test, as some people would say? Does it really make sense that an FBA holding fee is as high as it is for, let's say, a watch or a bag of marbles, whatever it is you're selling? And beyond that, we at Webgility, we understand that this is a very big pain point. So we're looking into how we can provide proactive alerts and notifications for you that something may not be right with that.
Question from Janine. Will it pull Amazon International just the same?
Great question, Janine. And actually, I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to have to look into that and get back to you.
Yeah, everyone, we do have a lot of questions coming in. So if we can't get around to it, or if we haven't fully answered your question, please feel free to send an email afterwards, and we'll get right on top of it. All right, question from Mary. How do you deal with sales tax? Will your software account for that?
Yes, our software will definitely account for sales tax. So we get a lot of your tax information from QuickBooks or NetSuite. We also integrate with Avalara for additional or more detailed tax information. What happens is we have rules within our system that can apply your different tax rates on a regional basis. so that particular items can be identified as taxable or non-taxable, and depending on their where it's being shipped from and where it's being shipped to, then different tax rates can be applied as it comes into Webgility.
Trista asks, how do we handle refunds that come in before the credit memo is reconciled?
Before the credit memo is reconciled. Good question. I don't want to misspeak, so I'm going to write that one down and get back to you on that one.
So some of these questions may need a little more detail, so we're more than happy to answer via email or even by phone call, so please feel free to do that. Question from Jamie, is the only for Amazon or does it work with other channels as well? What do you consider a high volume seller?
We definitely work with many other channels. So we work with Amazon, we work with eBay, Jet.com. Let's see, we work with Shopify, Magento, WooCommerce, BigCommerce. We have around 40 or 50 different marketplaces. Let's see, Walmart's another one. Marketplaces and shopping carts that we integrate with. So we definitely pull all of that information in. And the second part to that question, let's see, was which ones do we work with? Decker, can you remind me of the second part?
What do you consider a high volume seller?
That's right. So high volume seller is, tens of thousands of shipments a month, probably, or possibly even to the hundreds of thousands. I think we do have a number of customers in the hundreds of thousands per month category, but I would consider high volume tens of thousands and more.
Question from Joseph, how does Webgility determine whether a return should be added back to inventory or charged off?
So that's not something that Webgility would determine, because that's a manual, it really should be a manual process. Now, we are looking at ways to help facilitate that manual process, but that item really needs to be looked at, reviewed, ensured that it meets quality expectations, that it fits the description for the return reason, and that the item still works. And at that point, then you can make the decision whether it should be a charge off or returned inventory.
Joseph is wondering, can Webgility post in batches but include item details?
Yes. I'm trying to think of the reason I'd say no, and I can't think of that. So I'm going to say yes right now, and if it's no, then I'll get back to you.
Marcelo asks, what do we need to do to get started with the reconciliation process that you have shown?
Interesting question. So there's, I suppose it depends on where you're starting from. If you already have Webgility on desktop version or Webgility online version, it's already bringing all the information in on a regular basis. And so then there's just a tool that you run to verify, to download the reconciliation report and go through that process. So
Ronald's
depends
question.
on where. Sorry, go ahead.
Ronald's question is, so will Webgility move inventory sales quantities from a dedicated site in QuickBooks?
Inventory sales quantities from a dedicated site. So will it pull inventory from a specific site in QuickBooks? Then the answer is yes. We, assuming you're using QuickBooks Enterprise and you have the right level of Webgility, because we have different levels of the product, then you can use the inventory module of that and be able to take the information from any of, or take the stock from any of your inventory locations to fulfill an order.
Okay, the next question is, can Webgility set a minimum stock based on replenishment time and sales volume?
Yeah, we can absolutely set a minimum stock number within Webgility for reordering purposes for any of your shopping carts and marketplaces.
Mitch asks, can I control promo rebates at all?
You control, good question. I believe you can, but Mitch, I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Okay, we have another question from Lee. Will a product refund go into the customer's account or a general refund account?
That depends on how you have that set up. We can have that routed in any way that works with your business process.
Question from Terry. If we decide to use your software, do you provide someone to help us get it all set up correctly?
Absolutely, Terry. We've got, with all of our plans, we have white glove onboarding services. And so we will make sure that we have regular meetings with you and have our people walk through setting up the items, making sure we also have QuickBooks people here on staff and NetSuite professionals here on staff to ensure that you have your accounting practices set up correctly and you're utilizing best practices for the e-commerce industry for your accounting. And then we make sure that all of that is connected appropriately within Webgility and everything is flowing smoothly and correctly within Webgility, and that everything is tied with that nice, neat little ribbon and bow before we hit the go button and you guys get set on your automation. And then anytime you want to add additional shopping carts or anything like that, all you need to do is call us and we'll jump on a phone and help you with that as well.
Do you push information to QuickBooks Enterprise?
Yes, we do.
How does Webgility reconcile inventory?
That's kind of a vague question. Other than your standard, we have bi-directional data sync across all of the channels and QuickBooks Enterprise and NetSuite if you're holding your inventory. So then it will display and it will increment and decrement the inventory totals accordingly. So I'm not entirely sure I answered that question correctly. I'd want a little bit more information.
Question from Scott. Can Webgility create credit memos automatically and make a deposit?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was.
I'm just going to repeat it. Can Webgility create credit memos automatically and make a deposit?
Yes, it can.
Question from Ronald. I think he's saying, I use the software for processing Amazon orders separate from the Webgility we already use for Magento to QuickBooks. Sorry, Ronald, I don't quite get your question. Hopefully we can get to that through email. Question from Jenna. Do you work with Channel Advisor?
Yes, we do. We have a great relationship and integration with Channel Advisor.
Question from Dave. Have you considered integrating with Zoho's apps such as Books, CRM, etc.?
We have considered it. It is something that we continue to look at, and it is on a list of things that we continue to review. However, there are other priorities on the roadmap right now.
Okay, we're running out of time, so I'm just going to look at this last question, another question from Janine, which is, can you go into a little more detail on the inventory tracking? We ship from a local warehouse to Amazon. Can it keep track of both locations as well as what's in transit? So the first part of the question is, can you go into a little more detail on the inventory tracking?
That, not in the time frame that we have. I'd love to have a deeper conversation with that. Short answer to the other point of that is is yes, we can keep track of that inventory.
Okay, everyone, we are running out of time. Holly and Sharon, and I see others are submitting questions. Unfortunately, we can't get to them right now, but we can through email or telephone. Please, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to call us, to email us, please, at the end of this webinar, please answer the one question survey that we have, and we hope you really got value out of this. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, everybody.